West Metro Fire, what's the address of the emergency?
The house across the street is on fire.
All incoming units, this is a confirmed structure fire. There is a 5-year-old trapped inside of the building on the 2nd floor.
Brush 9, engine 9, engine 6, brush 6, on a large brush fire.
My wife is pretty far into labor.
I'm sending the paramedics to help you. Just stay on the line with me. I'll tell you exactly what to do next.
Engine 1, go ahead.
Just status update, baby's born.
Copy, sir. Baby born at 5:50.
2016 was a year of changes for West Metro Fire Rescue. Our district merged with Wheat Ridge Fire, and we took on the responsibility of protecting the homes and property of the residents in that district. We now cover nearly 130 square miles and serve nearly 280,000 residents.
Engine 2, command.
In the spring and summer, we held our largest recruit academy in history, graduating 38 brand new firefighters.
The house across the street is on fire.
And those firefighters quickly got to work. 2016 was a busy year for our crews. They answered nearly 32,000 calls from residential, commercial, and wildland fires to medical emergencies of every kind. We also became part of the Pulsepoint network, a smartphone app that allows people trained in cardiopulmonary resuscitation, or CPR, to help us save lives.
Engine 7's on.
And we continue to put an emphasis on training, keeping our firefighters ready to answer your call. In September, that training helped our crews rescue a 5-year-old girl from a Lakewood house fire. Your safety is our #1 concern, and it's why we're always working to improve our response time, so we can get you the help you need.
West Metro Fire, what is the address of the emergency?
Once we have the address, we then open an emergency call taking screen in our computer system.
Did he use any weapons, or were there any weapons involved?
We input the nature, the call type, whatever is relating to why someone's calling 911.
And he just quit breathing, like he's choking on it.
Providing a service, we want to provide a quick service, and we want to get to the emergency as fast and as safe as we can.
Engine 32 going route. AVL is automatic vehicle locator.
Engine 10's on scene.
So within each apparatus, they have an MDT, a mobile data terminal or mobile data computer that works alongside AVL technology, which clues into us where they are on the map. And based off of their location, we can recommend the closest unit to send to an emergency.
We have been in another station's district, and they'll pull us for that call as opposed to pulling the rig out of the station, because they know that our engine is closer.
A yellow just indicates that that unit is en route to the location of where the emergency is. Red indicates that they're on scene.
As an engineer, and as you know, when I'm driving the truck, it's real nice if my officer has that overall view, and he can literally look at the screen and give me 3 turns ahead of where I need to go. And as a driver, I like the system. It seems user-friendly, and the information that is given from my officer to me is real smooth in the transition too.
We're constantly aware of where units are at any given moment, and based off of whatever the call is that we're working through, we can act upon it quickly.
All right, well, we do already have the paramedics on the way to help her, okay?
Because of that technology, when that call drops in our software system, we're able to see them on the map and get them going. It's amazing.
You're welcome. They'll take good care of her. Bye-bye.
The majority of calls that come into our dispatchers are medical emergencies, and in some cases, the call is a cardiac arrest, where seconds count and well-trained firefighter paramedics matter. Because our crews are prepared and we have so many top-rated hospitals in our area, we're able to give those patients a fighting chance of survival. If you're trained in cardiopulmonary resuscitation or CPR, with your help, we can save even more lives. That's why we'd like you to become a part of the Pulsepoint community. Pulsepoint is a smartphone app that alerts people who are trained in CPR when someone nearby is experiencing sudden cardiac arrest, where seconds can be the difference between life and death.
This is Joel. He just suffered a sudden cardiac arrest. He isn't the only one. Today, 1,000 people in the United States will have the same experience. Time is now critical. As a call is placed to emergency dispatch, the clock continues to tick. Emergency responders are several minutes away. Unfortunately, several minutes can be too long. For every minute Joel goes unaided, his chance of survival decreases by 10%. Fortunately, Joel lives in a Pulsepoint connected community. Pulsepoint is integrated with his community's emergency dispatch. The moment Joel's emergency call came in, a Pulsepoint alert went out, connecting nearby CPR-trained volunteers and AEDs to his location. Meet Scott, an off-duty firefighter outrunning errands, and Donna, a financial planner working next door. Because they were nearby and quickly alerted, they're now able to provide life-saving care until emergency responders arrive. That initial care made all the difference. This is Joel. He's a sudden cardiac arrest survivor. Armed with Pulsepoint, any volunteer can help save a life. Become a life-saving volunteer and download Pulsepoint today.
Hello, I'm Jeremy Metz, West Metro's Division Chief of Emergency Medical Services. CPR, or cardiopulmonary resuscitation, used to seem complicated. But hands-only CPR is simple and if started quickly can greatly increase the chances of survival for someone experiencing sudden cardiac arrest. Let's go over the steps. First, if you're by yourself, call 911. If others are around, have someone else call 911 while you start CPR. And if there's an AED nearby, ask someone to get it. Your Pulsepoint app will tell you if there's an AED nearby. To do CPR, move the patient to a hard surface if you can. Then kneel close to the patient and place one hand on top of the other in the center of the chest. Push hard and push fast. You should be pressing down 2 to 2.5 inches into the chest at a rate of 100 compressions per minute. The most important thing, don't stop compressions until EMS personnel arrive or another person can take over. It's that easy to save a life. Remember, act quickly and just do your best. Any CPR is better than no CPR at all, and your actions can only help. Often the abnormal heart rhythm that is causing the problem can be corrected with an electrical shock from an AED. If there's an AED available, turn it on and follow the prompts. The AED will talk you through the steps.
Apply pad to bare skin, exactly as shown in the picture. Stand by. Press flashing button. Shock delivered.
If you're trained in CPR, download the Pulsepoint app and become a part of the Pulsepoint connected community. Help us save lives. Every year, our firefighters complete thousands of hours of training around the district and at our training center. It's important that we focus on keeping our skills sharp and also stay up to date on the latest firefighting and rescue methods and techniques. It's how we keep you safe.
West Metro Fire, what's the address of the emergency?
Yes, the house across the street is on fire.
Sounds like they're trying to get to somebody inside.
Okay, if you can tell them, do not re-enter the house, okay?
Engine 10, engine 8.
Call came in about 12:30 in the morning.
All incoming units, this is a confirmed structure fire. There is a 5-year-old trapped inside of the building on the 2nd floor.
As we come around the corner, tons of people in the neighborhood already out, and saw a significant working fire on the Charlie side of the back side of the house.
Engine 10, go ahead.
I got a 2-story medium-sized single family. Got a working fire on the Charlie side. Engine 10 is going to be in command.
And immediately had mom at the door of the engine before I could even finish giving my size-up report.
The house is filling with smoke.
Okay, are you still inside?
No, we are outside, but my daughter is inside.
She expressed to me that she was on the 2nd floor in the the back corner bedroom of the house, as she described it, which for us would be the Bravo Charlie corner of the house.
Tower 8's approaching. Engine 10 will give you 2 of my guys for search.
My thoughts en route were to let him know that because we were so close, that I had Seth and Dave gearing up to be ready to step off the truck and ready to breathe air immediately to go inside and perform a search.
While en route, we were listening to the radio traffic, and they updated there was somebody trapped, a 5-year-old trapped, and so we knew we were going to get ready and go to work.
En route, I was getting everything ready. I had everything ready to go. I had my mask on, had all my gear buttoned up, I had my radio on, turned on. I even had my TIC camera turned on. I had my air bottle turned on before I got out of the truck, so that all I had to do was click my regulator in.
The kitchen window and the patio door had already failed, and saw there was a large amount of fire inside. At that point, I figured the best thing to do knowing that I had Company 8 very close behind me, was to take the fire away from the victim as much as possible, make it more tenable for her inside and more tenable for the crews to actually effect a rescue.
It boils down to that we had great intelligence from the mom to Lieutenant Warren where that person was, so it just expedited the whole process.
As we pulled up, the fire was on Dave's side of the truck, so as I hopped off, I grabbed the set of irons and I was ready to go right behind him.
And I turned around and make sure my partner Seth was right behind me, and he was. We went in the door. We weren't able to see anything. The smoke was banked down to the floor.
Upon entry, I could hear the little girl and I could hear Dave calling out to try to get her attention. Dave made the top of the stairs, made it into the room.
I called out fire department and I heard her crying and screaming. So I was able to get right to her room really quick.
Got to the door, I held the door, maintained my situational awareness, I knew Dave at the time was talking to the little girl, so his role was dealing with her, my role was getting us out.
I was able to find her in the closet, and I said to her, "You got to come to me." And she said, "I can't, I'm too scared." I said, "I know you are, sweetie, but you have to come to my flashlight." And that's when I saw her. Well, I didn't actually see her, I felt her. I was reaching and I felt her, and she grabbed me and then I grabbed her. And at that point I had actually lost my situation awareness. I didn't know where the door to the room was. Luckily, I turned around, I looked over my shoulder, and Seth was standing in the doorway and he had his flashlight there, and he said, "This way, come right here."
I knew at that point that once he was able to get her in his arms, that I'd be able to lead us out, and I knew exactly how to get out.
Seth guided me back down the hallway and down the stairs. By the time we got back down to the main level, the living area and the kitchen level, the smoke had gotten better. It had risen up enough where we could see the actual staircase and the front door, and then we went out the front door with the girl and handed her off to somebody else.
Sam on command. Go ahead. Victim's coming out front door.
The little girl was rescued and the fire was put out quickly, and it kind of played out like a training scenario like we've done over multiple times.
What I've been training for the last 20 years of my life, looking for a victim. That's what we do all the time. So the training absolutely kicked in, and we did what we were supposed to do, and it worked the way it was supposed to work.
You can do it, you're almost there.
How you doing? Thumbs up. We got a thumbs up.
I would say square it up with a temporary before you go screwing on the drywall.
39 3/4 at the bottom.
So what we have today is the recruits are out building the 3 different cubicles.
I'm almost there.
And they represent different types of building construction that we're going to see representative of our district.
It'll be about the same overhang on this side.
Sort of 3 typical residential construction types going on. In one of the cubicles, we've got a lightweight construction with the wood trusses that you're going to see in a lot of our new construction. Then we've got, in this one is more of our conventional 2x framing. So typical more in our older construction that we'd see when dimensional lumber was more common and less expensive.
That's way too high.
And then in one we've got another example of lightweight construction to represent like an unfinished basement. For a lot of these recruits, their first exposure to building construction. So a lot of them have never swung a hammer before. A lot of them just don't know how buildings go together. But in addition, more importantly, is really the teamwork aspect. We're getting these guys to work together. We're allowing guys who might have that experience to step up into a leadership role that maybe they've never experienced before. And so we're, really how they're going to work together to accomplish a task.
2 minutes.
We've got them furnished, and we're going to light them off. We're going to burn these cubicles, and we're going to see sort of a number of different things. One is fire behavior and how that fire grows and the length of time that it takes for these rooms to catch fire and then become fully involved. But we're also going to see some building construction issues and how the buildings respond to the heat that's generated during those fires. For a lot of these recruits, this is going to be their first experience to real fire. A lot of them may have a campfire experience or something of that sort, but this is going to be the first time where they really get to experience heat coming off these buildings and see how much heat is actually generated from a room and contents fire like we've created here. could be kind of eye-opening for them as to the types of environments that they're going to be exposed to when they become firefighters and they're going inside of these structures to actually put them out.
Like every profession, firefighters need the right tools to help them do their job. In 2016, we were able to secure a federal grant to keep our crews safe with new SCBAs, or self-contained breathing apparatus, the masks and air tanks we wear to breathe clean air in smoky or dangerous conditions. West Metro also added a new engine to our fleet, Brush 39, specially designed for our crews to fight wildland fires in our district and to help out with major fires around the country.
So today we're going to take a look at the newest member of the Wildland family of apparatus. This is our brand new Type 3 from Pierce with a 750-gallon PTO driven pump, 500 gallons of water. A 250-gallon high-pressure secondary pump that we can use for pump and roll. And the advantage of this is on a fast-moving grass fire or a fire along the highway, we can open up and pump at about 35 to 120 gallons per minute, depending on how it's set, and put out a fire without ever having to get out of the truck. The cab is set up similar to how the rest of our engines are. We have the computer monitor, but you can also see the joystick that runs the front turret on the bumper, and that allows us to use that without ever getting out of the vehicle. And in the back you can tell that this is different than some of the other apparatus West Metro has because there are no SCBAs in the seats. This truck is designed for wildland. It's also designed for long distance travel. The truck already this summer has been to 3 fires in Wyoming. We're deployed for 14 days at a time. In this compartment, we designed this to hold our line gear, which is the gear that it's our PPE. It contains our fire shelter and then personal equipment that you would need to be all day out on a hike and working on the line. In this compartment, we have our Wildland hand tools ready to go. This is the shovel, the McLeod, Pulaski, an axe, and the combi tool. In this compartment we have a variety of things. We have 2 of our Wildland chainsaws and the chainsaw kits that go with it. So that's the fuel and all the stuff that we need to repair a chainsaw in the field. And then we also have back here some backpack pumps that we use for mop up. In this compartment we have our high pressure, low volume pumps. There's a couple of different pumps that we carry on Wildland equipment. This is the fuel tank for one of the pumps. And then we have the 2 different sizes of pumps. We have a 375 PSI wick pump and a 100 PSI wick pump. Both of them are used for different things in the wildland arena, to provide water to structures for structure protection, to be able to get water up to a fire that's up a hill. Really, these are key elements in a wildland operation. And in this compartment are all of the appliances that we need to be able to put together large hose lays over even up to miles of hose. We have nozzles, we have appliances, we have adapters, we have gated Ys, inline Ts. With this equipment, we're able to lay long hose lines and do structure protection or initial attack on grass fires. So the top of the truck is covered with diamond plate. There's 2 reasons for that. One is to protect the hose and the stuff in the compartments in the hose bed from embers and also moisture. And the other reason is it gives us a place to stand and kind of a watch out position off the top of the truck. So this is a quick tour of our new Type 3 Pierce apparatus that's stationed at Station 9. And as we've seen both here in West Metro and around the state, wildland fires can be catastrophic for a community. And we're very happy to have this amazing piece of equipment as a frontline apparatus in West Metro.
As a fire district, we have mutual aid agreements with surrounding districts to lend each other resources if an incident requires it. And we have strong working relationships with law enforcement agencies. Both of those are extremely important to our residents, as is the effort we make to train with those departments, making sure we stay ready.
Operations, Kirkpatrick. Kirkpatrick, operations. Yeah, do you have that
those rigs for the structure protection group and or channel assignment?
So we're doing a wildland fire simulation in the Kinkiro Valley.
The objectives of the exercise are really to challenge the entire region if there were a major wildfire response in multiple areas.
The fire started and spread up this draw behind the houses. And we did have some structural involvement, so we had to deploy resources to not only deal with the grass fire, but also with the structures that were involved in fire.
4121, engine 34, and 156.
Each area or each separate fire or incident, if you will, is going to be calling for resources. So we have to prioritize where those resources are going to go.
Also, there's a parking lot at Massey Draw.
Basically, look at where our biggest problem areas are and then focus our resources towards those areas where we can do the greatest amount of good for the most people.
Go ahead. Can you give me a situation update?
A big lesson we learned today as well is the value of teamwork. One of the big things that we learned from these exercises is we get to practice with the people that ultimately we would be working with in a real situation. So some of the people that were here today were also on the hogback fire last October. So we learned some things on that fire, and those lessons were implemented today.
We learn things every time we go out.
Our Wildland team is just one of the special teams we have here at West Metro. While we are firefighters, we have a wide variety of other responsibilities like medical emergencies, hazardous material incidents, rope rescue, and dive rescue, just to name a few.
Nice!
To be on a special team, a firefighter has to take hundreds of hours of extra training to become proficient. The teams often operate under extreme conditions.
Today we're doing a Metro dive team training where we simulate a fisherman through the ice, and we have all the Metro agencies come out and work together to operate and find the lost fisherman. You know, we call this a high-risk, low-frequency event. So diving under the ice cap is a high-risk event. If divers get disoriented or if there's an equipment problem under the ice, it's not like they can just come to the surface and figure it out.
What's your visibility?
I got about 8 feet.
You know, they have to find the one hole in the ice to come back, so it's definitely one of the more dangerous things we do, so we want to make sure that when we do it, we're well practiced and we know all the safety and survival techniques for us as well.
All right, we got Ryan back.
When diving in the ice water, what we wear is we wear a dry suit, and then underneath it we wear the equivalent to a full ski outfit as far as insulation and fleece and a lot of warm clothes. Ice calls that we go on are either ice fishermen out on the recreational lakes and reservoirs, or we're going on people that go after their dogs. You know, a dog will chase a goose out onto the lake, they'll go after the dog. To save the dog will get out, and then the person will end up in trouble.
Rich, when you're on the surface, go left hand.
The biggest dangers are whether or not we have the freeze and thaw cycle. So when we have the warm weather followed by the cold weather, you can get air pockets and you can get weak ice spots. So people think the ice is stronger than it is, and it ends up breaking on them.
Keep your hands up on the ice shelf.
Call 911 and wait for us to get there with the protection and the equipment to effect a safe rescue.
How's that right here? Good?
Yawn, Brian.
Got it.
You guys could start taking the rope again.
So we're doing rope rescue training, specifically a guideline training to get a victim off of a steeper slope. We would use this in a circumstance where the hill has a lot of big rocks, a lot of brush on it, and we're in that steeper angle where we're around a 60-degree angle. It could be a climber at the top of a steep slope where they fell somewhere near the top of it, but there's a cliff that we have above them that we can use to put a rope above them and set up a track line, and now they can ride down the hill. It's kind of like a zip line almost, except for we're controlling it. It is a little bit more complicated. We need a high point above where the victim's at so that we can set up that track line above them. And then at the bottom down here, we set up a mechanical advantage to be able to tension that track line and take it up in the air. Oh, it takes a while to get proficient at the rigging. You know, it's like anything. You got to use it or you lose it. And so that's what we're doing. We're out here practicing so that we're using it and staying proficient at it.
Even though this year brought big changes to West Metro, we're still your fire district. We're a part of the community and we're proud of our involvement. Whether it's attending a neighborhood event, teaching kids about safety at school, or helping new parents and grandparents learn the complexities of a child's car seat.
Are we going to put you in a new seat?
Our Life Safety Division helps city planners and builders ensure that new development meets the requirements of a safe community. And we also like to have fun, and that's why we hold a family fire muster each September, where you can get a behind-the-scenes look at how we do our job.
The Children's Fire Muster has been going on for quite a few years now, and it's absolutely wonderful. If you look around, all the kids that are here are having a great time, but they're learning at the same time. So we get them to learn different things, and it's not only for kids, it's so that we can teach the parents at the same time as well, but they're learning how to crawl low under smoke. They learn what firefighters do. They learn how to do an exit drill in the home, and we actually demonstrate that response. And we demonstrate some of the other services that we offer as well. But really the message is safety for kids and ultimately how they can affect their own safety and learn those skills while they're here.
They practiced CPR earlier. My wife wanted them to practice CPR because they'd never actually done it before. My daughter went through this little house over here learning to stay low and try to stay out of the smoke. That's a useful little skill.
I learned that when there's a fire, you always crawl under the smoke where the air is cleaner so that you don't die in the lack of oxygen.
It's just fun time for the kids. They get to run around and participate in all sorts of stuff. My daughter just did the little Firefighter challenge where she runs through, grabs hose, and tries to hold a dummy and all that. And they love getting the little bears, like this little bear I got here. They love that every year. Bouncy house. I mean, you can't go wrong. It's a lot of fun. It's free. It's a great event.
The 2017 muster is set for Saturday, September 23rd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at our training center, 3535 South Kipling. It's a lot of fun and free, and we hope to see you there. After months of planning and creation, in 2016, West Metro unveiled a very special artwork. One of our firefighters partnered with a bronze artist to create this piece. The project was funded through a grant from the City of Lakewood, part of the city's neighborhood participation program. Its new home is our Station 1.
The special artwork that now has a home outside of West Metro Station 1.
The biggest thing is I want people to have a smile when they see it.
Is the result of a unique collaboration between two artists.
I've been fabricating with metal for about 35 years.
One, a West Metro firefighter.
Basically, this room was fully involved.
The other, a volunteer firefighter and bronze sculptor.
Maybe we can incorporate his talents and my talents together and make something that's unique, that's different, that's no one else has seen before. And that's his welding capabilities, my sculpting capabilities, put into one interactive artwork.
Over a period of months, they worked together and separately to design, mold, bend, and create out of steel and molten bronze the pieces that would make a whole.
We wanted to do something that the community could use, not just a piece of art that was sitting on the side of the road. So we decided a bench would be a great idea.
So that's where my artwork comes in, as if a firefighter, of whoever it would be, sat a coat right on the end of it, and then another helmet right on the side. So when people sit there, they can try to understand a little bit about the firefighters themselves, and maybe some history too.
Funded through a grant from the City of Lakewood, the piece is meant to be both art and simply a bench, with a curved firefighter's ladder as a backrest, a place for those passing by to stop, sit a spell, and reflect.
It says to me that we're in your neighborhood, we're a part of your community, and you know, kind of at the end of the day, that our gear comes off and we're just like the rest of you. We're just citizens that are here.
And that gear, the coat, the helmet, looks so lifelike.
It looks so real that people actually have come up and knocked on the door and said that somebody has left their equipment out on the bench. So twice that's happened now in the short time it's been there.
And that is perhaps the greatest compliment of all for the two artists who put a piece of themselves in this work.
I would say every single piece that I create is from the heart of me, because I pour my heart out into it.
Just exactly like we envisioned. We were real happy with how it turned out.
No matter what changes we saw in 2016 at West Metro, our mission of protecting lives and property remained the same. We know you trust us to respond quickly and efficiently to every emergency, no matter how small, and that you count on us to be there when you need us. We promise we will be. We're only a phone call away.
We have no ambition in this world but one, and that is to be firefighters.
Engine 10, Engine 8, on a structure fire.
We know what the job demands. The hard work and long hours, pushing yourself to the limit and beyond.
Brush 9, Engine 9, Engine 6, Brush 6, on a large brush fire.
At the fire station, time is measured not by the hands on a clock, but by the calls. A fire, a car crash, a rescue.
All incoming units, this is a confirmed structure fire. There is a 5-year-old trapped inside of the building on the 2nd floor.
The house is filling with smoke. We are outside, but my daughter is inside.
We see people on the worst days of their lives and do what we can to make it better.
Okay, stay with me on the phone. We've got help on the way.
This job is not a job for everyone, but it's exactly what we want to do. It's what we were meant to do.
Engine Medic 4 on scene.
And we know that no matter the hour of day or night, it's our responsibility to protect the homes and property of the families who depend on us.
Dispatch, command, fire under control.
Fire under control, 1624.
But above all, our single most important responsibility is to save lives. And we will carry that responsibility on every call for as long as we wear a uniform.
Dispatch, Medic 12, en route to Swedish Emergent.
Some people might call us heroes. We're here because we're willing to do what the job requires. We're here to answer the call. We're here to serve.
West Metro Fire, what is the address of the emergency?